Jennifer, thanks for being with us. Quite the bombshell yesterday morning. What were your thoughts on the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister resigning on a day she was supposed to be presenting the fall economic statement?
I was surprised. I think I wasn't surprised to hear that there was going to be a cabinet shuffle coming ahead. I think it was inevitable at this point, especially, before the Christmas break and then heading into a new session in the new year. I was, however, surprised that she did it the way she did it, especially on such a big day. But typically when you do something like that, it's for maximum impact. So I think this told a very clear story that Chrystia Freeland was not having it. And I think when the news came out yesterday that she had been talked to from the Prime Minister through Zoom last week, I think that showed us that, he didn't respect her time or even her commitment to cabinet. And I think that this was basically her public statement of this was unacceptable. I'm not going to tolerate it. Here's your fall economic statement. Best of luck to you as you attempt to present this to the public.
All right. Leslie's speaking at the moment. I've not heard the Prime Minister speak yet. Do you think that he should speak to Canadians or the media?
Of course he should. I think when you release, an economic update to Canadians that isn't painting a good picture, we're hearing about a $61.9 billion deficit. Granted, it's $21.9 billion over the guardrail that they had told us about in the spring budget. I think, if anything, the least you can do when that happens is acknowledge the public. But also, Canadians now are looking at a government that is completely fractured and falling apart. And right now, more than ever, like Jody Wilson-Raybould had inserted an opinion on this, basically saying we're on the eve of a tariff war. We have, a cost of living crisis happening. We have major issues ahead of the country right now when it comes to reconciliation, like child welfare and, some other issues that we're seeing, especially with the AFN. Now is not the time to see a government that is fractured the way that it is, especially, we're seeing the U.S. elect a new president. What's happening? What's going on? And right now we have a prime minister that can't acknowledge anything. He didn't show up to question period. He didn't release a statement, but he did a $1,000 to $1,700 a plate fundraiser last night. So really, if anything, that just tells Canadians that he doesn't care. He's lost touch and he's halfway out the door.
Right. Well, they're all halfway or more out the door. MPs are about to go on their Christmas break, which is always a lengthy break. An election now seems unlikely until probably spring. What do you think this means for Canadians, for government over the next few months?
I think Canadians are unfortunately used to it at this point. I think they're used to just seeing very little happening out of Ottawa that is producing real results. These breaks are meant to be constituency breaks where MPs go back to their constituencies and spend time with their constituents at events, in their constituency offices, whatever it might be. And typically for more high profile ministers and stuff like that, they'll be out on the trail. They'll be doing things to advance their government, their party. But right now we can see that there's fractures in the party. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of Liberal MPs laying low this Christmas.
Right. Well, Jennifer, you won't be laying low. We'll see you back here in a couple of days for the panel. Appreciate you taking some time for us here today.
No problem.